Hi, N5 students. I think all of you are here to attend Public Finance N5. Today we are going to do Module 3, the role of the Executive Authority, Learning Objectives number 3. In the last Learning Objectives, we learned about the role of the Executive Authority by referring to the financial control and the role of political office bearers responsible for finance. In this unity, we are still going to do the role of the Executive Authority, but by referring to the role of the Administrative Authority and the financial matters contained in the Constitution. Let us start with the role of the Administrative Authority. Role of the Minister. He may be called upon to do the following: play a prominent role in the preparation of the draft budget for the department, keep themselves informed of the financial situation of the department, be able to explain to the Cabinet requests made by the department for additional funds, play an active role in reducing expenditure of the department when Parliament or the Cabinet asks them to do so. In other words, the Minister is not allowed to reduce the expenditure of the department except if the Parliament or the Cabinet asks them to do so, and also should not abdicate responsibility for the financial administration of the department. Role of accounting officers, which is the Director General. Let us do the responsibilities of an accounting officer. The responsibility of the accounting officers is to account personally for all the financial transactions of his department, preparation and submission of their department's draft budget, the execution of the approved budget, submit financial year end statement of the department for auditing, submit the audited financial statement and auditor's report to the treasurer, and also to answer any queries about any item of the budget. This responsibility of an accounting officer, you can even refer to the memo of November 2014. Role of departmental financial officer. He or she is responsible for the following: to control all finances and be responsible for financial administration and all records keeping of the department. He must have sound knowledge of financial matters. In other words, if you want to be a financial officer, you must have a sound knowledge of finance. Another role of the departmental financial officers are to control all transactions of department, report any maladministration to the accounting officer, provide effective internal procedures to ensure financial regulations are followed, exercise budget control on a daily basis, also act as the main advisor to the accounting officer. Objectives and functions of the Financial and Fiscal Commission. As I think you still remember that in our last learning objectives, we explained the meaning of monetary and fiscal control. Monetary policy refers to the central activities that are directed towards influencing the quality of money and in the economy by contrast. Fiscal policy refers to the government decision about taxation and spending. Objectives and functions of the Financial and Fiscal Commission. They familiarize itself with all financial and fiscal information on central, provincial, and local levels of government. They render advice and make recommendations to relevant legislative authorities, which includes advice on the financial and fiscal policy, tax levies that provincial government intend to levy, raising of loans by provincial or local governments, also setting the criteria for allocation of financial and fiscal resources. The National Revenue Fund. What is the National Revenue Fund? This is a fund into which all revenue raised by the government is paid. It is controlled by Reserve Bank. The banking account of both central and provincial government are controlled here. Let us look for the role of the Reserve Bank. What is the Reserve Bank? The Reserve Bank is the central bank of the government of South Africa. Therefore, Reserve Bank is responsible for the bankers of the government of the day, control the National Revenue Fund, the only bank allowed to release banknotes and coin in South Africa, custodian of country gold reserve to protect the value of the rand, and also control foreign exchange reserve held in the country. Conditions before money can be withdrawn from the National Revenue Fund. In other words, you can't just go to the National Reserve Fund and withdraw money. You need to follow other conditions. Now we are going to discuss the conditions that we need to follow when we want to withdraw money from the National Revenue Fund. We are going to discuss it under the central level and the provincial level. Conditions that you need to follow under the central level, it's in terms of an appropriation by an Act of Parliament as a direct change against the National Revenue Fund, when it is provided for in the Constitution, as an Act of Parliament, also as an Act of Government. Let us look the condition that you need to follow when you want to withdraw money from the National Revenue Bank under provincial level. They follow these conditions. In terms of an appropriations by a provincial act as a direct charge against the Provincial Revenue Fund, when it is provided for in the Constitution as a provisional act, also as an act of government. Thank you. That is the end of the lesson for today, and it is again the end of module 3. Thank you. Good luck.